I'm Andy Gordon from the International Transport Workers Federation in London, and I'm talking to Wol-san Liem from the Korean Public Service and Transport Workers Union, that's the KPTU, and she's in Seoul. And she's recently used the DHL Workers Network to help with their negotiations with DHL in Korea. So, Wol-san Liem, can you tell me, what was it that you needed help with?
Right. We were been in negotiations with DHL management in both global forwarding and supply chain, and we were trying to compose a bargaining committee that included union representatives from both supply chain and global forwarding to negotiate with the global forwarding management. And the company was telling us that this would be a violation of internal regulations, so we wanted to find out if this sort of bargaining was happening in other countries, and the network was really helpful in helping us contact unions around the world to learn about how they're carrying out bargaining and whether they're carrying out cross-divisional bargaining or not.
So what was it that the network told you, and how did this help you in your dealings with the company, with DHL?
So we put out a request for information about whether unions in other countries were able to compose bargaining committees that involved union representatives from different divisions or carried out joint divisional bargaining with management. And we found that depending on the legal structure in other countries, that sometimes there's industrial level bargaining, and sometimes there is, in fact, in some other countries, cases where there's cross-divisional bargaining between union representatives from different divisions, and both sometimes in the case where it's management from different divisions sitting down together, and sometimes where it's possible for the union to compose its bargaining committee as it likes in order to bargain with the management of one division. I think the most important thing to recognize was that in a lot of other countries, the company was in this instance adhering to the laws of that country. So where the country allows unions, industrial unions, to compose their bargaining committee as they like, the company was in theory allowing that, whereas in Korea they were disrespecting that legal structure. And by pointing this out to them, we were able to have them agree in principle to us for us to compose our bargaining committee across the divisions.
So what did you do with this information? How did you present it to DHL, and how did this change or improve your negotiations with them?
We had one meeting in early April where they said, you can't bring division union representatives from other divisions. And before the next meeting, we collected the data with, I think, information from maybe a dozen countries, and I compiled that, and then we kind of analyzed it in a letter that we drafted, and specifically pointed out the cases where there had been cross-divisional bargaining in other countries, and then put that together with an argument about the fact that we have industrial relations law that specifically gives industrial unions the right to compose their bargaining committee as they choose, and that what they were saying to us was in violation of that law. And we sent that, I think in 2 rounds, we sent 2 rounds of memorandums to them with this information. And then when we met them again at the bargaining table, they had changed their position.
Well, that's fantastic news, and it's a really good work by you, and great that the DHL Workers Network was able to give you that information to make the company, like you say, respect the law and change its mind. And so now you've got this, now you can negotiate as you should be able to and you want to. How do you think DHL workers in Korea will benefit?
Right now, we're actually in the first half of this year, we're doing bargaining on just a wage increase, and we will start to compose a cross-divisional bargaining committee in those negotiations. But in the second half of the year, there's going to be a big discussion about, in fact, changing the wage structure, the wage system, to a performance-related salary system. And this is coming from government policy, and it's something that's a big issue for the whole labor movement. And so it affects actually all DHL divisions, but then also the whole logistics sector. And therefore, we feel like it's important to have these joint bargaining committees in order to be able to try to mitigate the negative impact of that policy as it gets introduced at the company level. I mean, hopefully we can stop it completely, but if not, sharing the experiences of our bargaining representatives from other divisions and possibly even other companies should help us, I think, in having a stronger position to negotiate this kind of tricky issue on wage structure in the second half of this year.
Thank you. So, Wol-san Liem from the KPTU in Seoul, thank you for telling us that story. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much. It was nice to talk to you.